Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us again.
Yes, thank you.
Now we have joining us also Professor Damole Macaulay, who is a professor of economics and psychology. He has also made a publication, published a book titled God, Religion, and the Scientific Environment. He also has other books in manuscript form. Professor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Now, Reverend, you've been talking about homelessness for a very long time now. And in spite of the fact that you've been harping on this, it seems as if homelessness is on the increase and more and more people are beginning to be without shelter. Why is it so?
Well, it is so because the basic issue of homelessness has to do with poverty. And the level of poverty is, well, we're going to be talking of poverty elevation, but I want to tell you that what we've been having is essentially poverty escalation, aggravation, and even elevation. And when poverty keep elevating, keep aggravating, you find out that the consequence is that people will be stranded on the highways of life. They won't be able to afford their rent. They won't be able to pay their rent. Those who are having the building can't complete it. You see the rate at which construction is going on so slow in this economy. Too many abandoned buildings all over. Even government buildings are being abandoned, not to talk of individuals. So if things go at that rate and the population keeps growing at such a geometric rate, there's a great imbalance. I mean, when you look at the number of houses coming up and the people thronging the cities, every day the rate at which people throng the cities at the urban centers is so heavy. And you find out that there's a big margin. So if you keep rushing to the cities because there's nothing to do in the rural area, and right in the city there's overcrowding all over the place, there's competition, there's retrenchment, the people cannot hit, and not to talk of paying their rent. You find out that many people will come in to sleep under the bridge, every day. I mean, the problem will keep swelling up. I also find out that as long as there's no policy, no government welfare policy to midwife the release of the prisoners, ex-convicts, so to say. When they finish their daytimes, there's no place to midwife them. The family don't want to have them again. Many of them they are stigmatized. They don't want to have them. The friends don't want to see them. Families don't want to have them. The next thing you see is that these guys, come together and form, they swell up the next society of the homeless. And you see also that poverty is also inducing or predisposing families to crisis. There's high rates of breakdown in family relationship, marital violence, family violence. The man will walk away, leaving the wife at home, and begin to sleep anywhere, caught under the bridge because he couldn't make up with his responsibility as a man. The wife will just could be beaten, anything could happen, could be abused, so to say, because of stress and poverty. And the wife will just leave, and those wives who are not working, those wives who are not having career of their own, they start squatting. Some of them will just go out and do anything to live. Children who couldn't have their parents care for them because of financial stress and financial insufficiency and poverty, they get out to join their friends, catch up with other bad behavior, and before they know it, they are on their own under the bridge and living and squatting anywhere. So it is the poverty is a strong dynamics in the issue of homelessness, and unless there's a real elevation of poverty, you can't have it better.
Well, is there a relationship between inability to pay rent and homelessness?
Yes, there's.
Because you've been talking about rent, you mentioned about 3 or 4 times.
That's true. The fact remains that when you are not able to pay your rent, go to courts today. Bulk of the litigation in most of cases in the courts today, particularly the lower court, the magistrate, is issue of rent and ejection. As we are talking, people are being ejected. 5-year order has been issued every day. They are breaking into houses. I passed back last 2 nights. I saw a family being ejected. The husband was on him. They came with court order. They carry everything out. I wonder where those families will be living. In fact, one of those things that motivated this program, this project initially, was the sight of people being suddenly ejected, children, pregnant women. They are being rejected out of their houses because they couldn't pay rent, and the landlord is securing judgment against them. And you see, there's a very close correlation coefficient between inability to pay rent and homelessness. People who cannot pay rent will soon be thrown out. And when they thrown out, where will they go? Many of them are even big, they can't squat. Even to squat in the urban cities is a problem because everywhere is filled up. You have a friend or cousin, you find out that is the problem. They almost will start sleeping. You stay 6 hours, you stay 3 hours. You know, sometimes they have to wait till visitors leave so that some people can occupy the sitting room.
The sitting room area. Now, how did Professor Damole Macaulay here become homeless? Because that was one point that you made clear.
You see, concerning Professor Damole, I think you have more to say about himself since he's here, but I just find out that I feel just a victim of circumstances. It's not necessarily because it's like people of his caliber and personality who has really gone far in academics. That was our shock too. But I think there was a time I was on here in this studio, and I'm talking about homelessness, and I just found out that weeks after that, somebody who watched us came with him and said, well, this man is his friend and he needs assistance of the ministry, and the ministry tried a little you can do to put his spiritual and body together and to find him a place to stay.
Professor Damole?
Yes.
What exactly happened? How did you find yourself in a state of homelessness?
Even that term is a wrong application in my case.
Okay, so what's the right one?
I got into in a situation which was precipitate, unexpected. I had a billionaire friend who had once been helped massively by my family, and I was staying with him in his mansion. That was at Ikeja, GRA. His plan, the children were not interested in working or going on their own. So they conspired to eliminate their father, who was my very close friend. The man, unfortunately, in the process, was paralyzed, and I was a living witness of all that was going on. So in a state of paralysis, then the children attacked me to eliminate a living witness. So it was an interruption of what I was doing. I was writing, I was teaching. So as a result of the attack, I was left immediately without shelter because my things, computers, laptops, were all thrown into the rain. Even I had to struggle to escape from there with my life. And that was how that particular incident occurred. It is a transient phase of my life. The reason that I am with Dr. Oediji is really to be able to assist them in laying out a platform in which their program of resolving the problems of homelessness can be easily gone about with. Now, they are not economists, but the substructure of the problems is economic. The liberation struggle in this country from colonialism to independence was not like what you had in Algeria, like what you have in Angola, or what you have in Mozambique or Namibia. It was a gentleman's agreement between the British government, colonial office, and the Nigerian petty bourgeoisie. They have got no policy for an independence doctrine or ideology, or how to improve the country from the colonial state to one that is geared to serving the interests of the population.
Okay, Professor, are you still lecturing now?
Since I came to Nigeria, I've been able to write 11 books. I've got all of them all ready to be published. So my ideology, which is quite radical, I was an ideological consultant to a revolutionary party in the United States, the Black Panther Party. One of my first books in the United States is titled The Heritage of Imperialism, and the typed manuscript was 1,500 pages. As a result of the publication of that book, I became a victim of the CIA elimination. So I persistently fell into a disfavor with the American government. So I thought Nigeria, which is a much less, I would say, much more backward country, it's not easy for me to blend intellectually or ideologically with the Nigerian intelligentsia because they're closed out of the radical ideology which sort of pervaded the African continent in the early 60s. I remember when I went to India, the Nigerian students there were isolated because they were perceived not only as being conservative, but reactionary. By contrast to students from South Africa, Rhodesia, which is today Zimbabwe, and other countries of South Africa. Because most of the African students in India were from Southern Africa, and they were more progressive thinking, more revolutionary than the students from Nigeria. So some of the problems that are now being making overt and articulated, those problems derive intrinsically from the kind of path defined by the conservative, reactionary decolonizers, such as Ezekiel of the NCNC, even Awolowo, not to speak of the Northerners, the Northern Elements groups.
Okay.
These are very conservative people.
Professor, I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
In a short while. Reverend Oediji, let's look at homelessness in itself.
Okay.
And it's been a topic we have discussed very, very much in the past. But how do you think government can help to reduce homelessness?
Well, I think government has a lot of role to play when it comes to this issue of solving homeless problem. Now, the first thing I think government should endeavor to do is to de-emphasize on housing as investment. I watched the Minister of Housing recently on this studio, Abuja studio, and she was talking about private sector involvement in housing projects to make houses available. But the fact is that they are afraid to recognize the difference between housing as an investment and housing as a shelter. We are talking of shelter, not investments. And if every nation of the world look at housing as investment, as the context the government is putting it, then the poor, the low-income earner will not get a place to live, because there's no how they can sustain the money. As you can't apply in that housing market. Look at what LSV sell their houses today. Look at what government sell. No low-income earner can ever appear in that market. The minister said, she said that if low-income earners can have a savings of 4,000 naira a month, and in about 2 years or thereabout, you can hold the house. The point is that how can they save even 2,000 naira in the present dispensation, when even to live, to feed is a problem? They can't take care of the sector. The drive, the motivation will be different. It will be how to care, it will be welfare program, how to make sure people are sheltered, they will relax, and they will even go ahead and subsidize building materials, because they are having the target. Position whereby they are looking at everybody as having money to buy a house, everybody where's the job? The treatment, the level of retrenchment is so high. People are unemployed. People don't have a stable address. Without a stable address, you can't get a stable job. You need a stable job to get a stable address. You need a stable address to get a stable job. So somewhere they will ask for your address. They will ask for your address. Where do you live? If you don't have a place you are living, they can't give you a job. And how will you get a job without an address? So it's a problem.
Earlier this year, I think, was it this year, last year, that you had a sleep out?
A sleep out, that was last year.
That was last year.
Last year.
You said you were going to some particular locations in the city of Lagos, where you were going to spend the night with some of the destitute people who had to stay outside, maybe under bridges and in other open spaces. Why did you decide to do that? And why are you continuing it? Because it's a kind of hazardous thing.
Yes, it's part of the vision of my organization that every year, at least to identify with the homeless. We have at the back of our mind that if we live under our roof 365 days a year, and we are sheltered, that there are quite a number of people out there who have not spent one night under the roof. Now the thing is, can we get them houses? We can't get all of them houses. Those who can get houses, as I'm talking, my members go about looking for one room here. Those who can get houses, we get them. But you can't, our effort is a drop in the ocean. So what we do every year is to go there with them, take a nice sleep with them, enjoy, relate with them very well. We want to find that we are demonstrating practical love. We find out that each time the police go there to arrest them, they release them back again. It's a cycle. But when we went there with love, they came out and they could even talk to us intrinsically about themselves. And some of them will say, okay, please help me. I don't want to live in this ghetto again. I don't want to live in this environment. I say, come over. They will get them houses or rooms here, furnish room for them, make them stay there. But the fact that the practical love we share with them, mixing up with them, so that they make them remember to remind them of what home life is. And when they see us again, they feel okay. So there's no border. We are removing the border, the demarcation between us and them. Because that's why they break houses. When they have gotten to believe that people don't want them, they don't like them, and they have formed a colony, their own society, and which is against the normal society. So if there's no mixture, we don't allow a forum to mix with them, and they will still remain in their world, and they'll be terrorizing the other world.
When is the next sleep out? And where are you holding this one?
Yes, the next, we're trying to make the next one national in the sense that we find out that there's a large number of people who have become homeless in the recent past. People who have become homeless through demolition exercises here and there. People who have become homeless through family alienation and poverty. People who have become homeless through bomb blasts, oil leakage, gas leakage, ethno-religious riot, fights, Modakeke, Wari, Port Harcourt, Kano, Kaduna, many houses are without roof. People have been stranded who were once landlord. We want to sympathize with them, and we are making it national call that all Nigerians should come out wherever they are. Those who cannot come under the bridge like we do every year, they should stay in their balconies, inside their cars, wherever is safe for them. But let's for once come out, because we can't be saying we love them, without showing it. And let's send them gifts, the identifiable one, let's send them gifts, let's send them greetings, let them know we care for them. Let them know we are con. So this year, we in Lagos are meeting at Maryland. We allow other people in other parts of the country to choose a place of their own choice. But it could even be your premises, but just make a sacrifice that night. And we'll call on Muslims on their Jummah service to pray for them. On Sunday, Christians to remember them, that God will, do something about them. And when we see this interactive process, they begin to remember home. And those who are not just reading about their predicament in the papers, we're also sharing part of their situation.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm afraid that's what we have time for this morning. We just have to go now because we have to move on to the next segment on the program. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Reverend, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Reverend Gabriel Oediji is the President, Compassion Outreach for the Homeless, and Professor Damole Macaulay is here with him, and he's a Professor of Economics and Psychology. You've been talking with me about caring for the homeless, especially in Nigeria. At this point in time, we'll take you over to our Port Harcourt Center to join Ohiria Abonsuremi, where he will be talking about the state of the environment in Nigeria.